proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, Let's Talk Rallying, the Rally podcast, episode 30. Conor, where does these episodes keep coming? Has there even been 30 weeks this year?
Kevin, I have no idea. It was never meant to last this long.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, in this episode, we look back at the latest round of the BRC, Rali Ceredigion. We catch up with Eamon Kelly, who claimed the JBRC. Kyle McBride, who claimed the Academy section of the Junior British Championship as well. Catch up with the wonders then from the Lakeland Stages. We look forward to Wexford Rally, where we catch up with Danny Mullins. I think you'll find that very interesting. He's competing in his first rally, but to anybody that likes horse racing, they'll know the name. And then finally, we catch up with Kieran Ambrose, who is one of the driving forces behind the Marshals, the National Marshals seminars that will be taking place around the country. But first of all, Conor, the BRC, this Rali Ceredigion, it was some event.
Absolutely, it really was. I was following it online with interest and a little bit jealous I wasn't there, actually, in fact. And Friday night, happy out that, Saturday night, happy out that Keith was looking good. And then, all of a sudden, stage 4, I think, was it? Yeah.
Yep.
And
I had a new started filter through, yeah. So
yeah, a bit of a substantial role, all right, for himself and Mikey, unfortunately. And it kind of, I suppose, puts a bit of a question mark now over Keith's drive for 5.
Yeah, but hopefully, as far as I'm aware, I think that's his first drop score of the year. You know, so maybe Stings is not over and done with yet. But like for Russian Price and Noel Sullivan, then to settle the heads and take a strong second place, great result for them. Possibly does put them in the driver's seat a wee bit in the championship, but we know how fickle rallying can be.
Absolutely. It doesn't take much to be caught out. Like, again, go back to Keith, high uncharacteristic of him. When's the last time you can think of Keith crashing out like that? It's, be scratching your head to come up with it. Fantastic for Noel and Oisín, and they puts them firmly at the front of that BRC championship, but who knows? There's still 2 rounds to go.
That's it.
What could happen?
And then friend of the show, we've had him on a couple of times, Hayden Patton. Like, great to see, it's always been so accommodating, nothing we've asked for of him. Come and take the one, and Akari had probably never driven until a few days before the event, to step in there, new co-driver on board. Just shows the class of the guy.
Absolutely. And if I'm right in thinking, first win on tarmac as well for Hayden.
Excellent.
Yeah. So listen, a phenomenal drive for him, and was absolutely delighted for him. Genuinely delighted for him. As you say, like, he's a good friend of the show who's been very accommodating for us. And again, just shows the measure of the man and his capabilities. With all those news and firsts to get in there and literally go flat out from the start of the rally and convincing lead over Oisín. And you got to remember, Oisín was in home territory as well.
Yep, for sure. Like, I know that Oisín probably was driving with the championship in mind, but still a stellar lineup behind them. It wasn't a simple drive for Oisín by no manner of means either. There was a strong Welsh lineup there. We know how good them guys are in home territory.
Absolutely. Listen, it wasn't handed to Price and Noel either. What do you call it? Like James Williams, Rory Bell did push them in the early stages, and they couldn't relax with the likes of the way James Williams has been driving as well this year.
No, for sure. And then like the junior section of the event, like Eamon Kelly, we'll speak to in a couple of minutes. Like, he, went there knowing if he won the category that he would win the championship, and control drive. He explains it more better than I can ever explain it. But it was great to see him coming away with the one. They had their dramas. It was a tough event, no doubt about it. But two lovely lads in Eamon and Conor. To see them taking the one, I know Conor hasn't the championship just quite wrapped up yet, but brilliant to see.
Yeah, and again, we can only look with pride at the range of drivers coming out of the island at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you look at that Rally 4 category, the R4 category on that rally, was there 5 out of 7 crews were from Ireland, north and south. So it's just incredible and fantastically, as you say, not without their problems, but a fairly well controlled, mature drive by Eamon.
That's for sure. So I think without further ado, we'll get it from the man's own words. So let's hear from Eamon. Delighted now to be welcome along the Junior British Rally Champion 2022, Eamon Kelly. Nice ring to that, hasn't it?
Yeah, it sounds good. Better than the last few introductions. So, thanks for having me as always. I appreciate it.
What a fantastic achievement at the weekend to wrap up the title so early in the season. You have to be delighted with that.
Yeah, no doubt. It was our goal this year, obviously. We didn't think we'd do it with a few rounds to spare. We put a big effort into the whole thing, but to get it with a couple of rounds to go, it hasn't really sunk in yet. But yeah, such an amazing feeling. We obviously entered the championship last year as a first timer, really, with no experience of any of the rallies and the competition. So we've gone from one season last year finishing second to going and winning it now. It's something I suppose for myself and Conor to be really proud of, because each round we've worked, built on things and really worked on ourselves to get to the top level pace. And the Junior BRC is top level pace. You never have it easy over there. So yeah, we're just delighted to have won it, and it's just, yeah, I can't describe the feeling. It's unreal.
And Ceredigion, the first time in the BRC, but without a doubt, I think it deserves it, and I think it'll be there for many years to come. It looked like a brilliant rally, tough but brilliant.
Yeah, tough. My God, it's a challenge. It's it deserves its place there, because I suppose if you're going to a top championship like that, you do seek out events that are really tough, and challenging drivers, to think in different ways. And yeah, it's such a tough event. You don't get a break when you're driving. You're really having to, just be on it all the time and really focused. It has to be in the top 2, 3 toughest events I've ever done. Conor would definitely say the same as a navigator because of the call, and I don't know how he done it. And at times it's impressive, just the roads over there. I was saying, we get sections of roads like that in Ireland where you've, tight, twisty, relentless sections, very narrow, but over there it's just like that for 16 miles, so there's no let up. You come to the end of it and you really feel it. But it's very rewarding if you can get it right. And for us, luckily, we did. And yeah, it was a very rewarding feeling. So class event, and I have to say the way they ran it was really cool. They obviously had a lot of top guys who know what they're doing over there behind it. And yeah, I think it's the start of something good for the future. And it's good to see events like that on the calendar.
Excellent. And I can imagine it must have been a huge relief then to finally get to the end of it all.
Yeah, definitely, especially after the day we had. We never really, to be fair, there was no pressure on ourselves to go and say, well, if we win the championship. It was a case of that if we won one of the next 3 rounds, we won the championship. But I knew myself that tarmac's obviously my favourite surface, so I was like, right, well, if we're going to do it, try and do it now. And our confidence was up as well. We had a few good results leading up to it. But there was no big pressure, I suppose, but just the actual style of the event to try and push and have a go on it was a little bit of pressure in that sense, because you've seen, I suppose, that risk reward. Even after you see Keith go off on the second stage, you're like, oh God, that's that he's top level, and so much experience, and even he can make a mistake. So I'm like, damn, what am I going to do? I need to push here as well. But yeah, we've put a huge effort into the whole thing in our pace notes, and really fine tuning them to get the most out of them. And it really paid off for us. I guess on the first stage on the Sunday morning, we were having a really good cut and just made a simple mistake and clattered the side of a church wall and bent the back axle. So really, then that was kind of like, oh God, how are we even going to get to the end? Never mind win. The car was just, it wasn't easy at all to drive. It was crabbing completely, and I think Conor said I had my steering wheel at about 90 degrees going down a straight at one stage, just trying to hold on to it. And we really, then it was a matter of survival and just trying to do the most of what we could with the car and survive. But thankfully, because of the preparation we put into the event, we were fit to kind of push on even with a broken car and put in good times. It kept us in the lead. And to my surprise, we didn't drop anything. We kept the push on and got back to service, and that was such a relief. Like, I remember sitting in the queue for a regroup and just thinking, my God,
got away with that.
And to be in the lead, I was like, hitting the church wall must have been a blessing, because I don't know how I'm here. But yeah, then once we got it sorted, we reset and we were fit to go out and punch in some really good times then with a car that was driving in a straight line. And yeah, just.
But that shows how vital it is to have good people around you. You've Conor there in the car beside you, keeping you calm. Then when you get into service, the guys from VSM, they're going to make sure that the car leaves service as good as new almost again.
Oh yeah, like it's. I can't, I'm so lucky to have them people around me, and I can't thank them enough, because it's round after round that, they're there, and the effort that they put in and the quality of the work that they do is just, it's next to nothing. And they're really fantastic, and they're very involved in the whole thing too. They want us to win, and you can feel that. But yeah, you can always count on them, and it's absolutely fantastic. It was the axle was changed within 10 minutes. It was, you were good to go, and it wasn't something you had to worry about. You knew they were gonna have you sorted, which is great, because you could just sit down and relax and forget about it and just focus on what you had to do. So
I think it was Matt Cotton at the end of the next stage. When you just pulled up, he was completely shocked how good the car looked again. Like even at his level, at Matt seeing it all, it was just, you could see the delight in his face to see you back and everything straight again as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I'd say it was a surprise to many people, but it wasn't a surprise to me, because I've been with these guys for years. I've probably known most of them since I was about 6 years old. So I've seen how they are with Dad, and obviously from my own experience with rallying. So it wasn't a surprise to me. I know they're absolute professionals, and just, the highest quality of work. And same to Conor, we had a tough day as a driver and navigator, trying to just make things go perfect, and you have that bit of pressure of wanting to win, but did an absolutely fantastic job and delivered notes that were, like I said, really tough to deliver in places. Like I said to him, an average navigator wouldn't do a good job in a stage like that, and it was fantastic. It was, again, I had nothing to worry about it as a driver, and it's a credit to the people around me. So yeah, like, for the whole championship all year and an event like that, I have so many people to thank. The likes of Dad, who even sits back and believes in me to, he lets me go and do the whole thing, not just because I want to, but because he obviously believes in me to do it as well. He wouldn't put the faith in me otherwise. Even I suppose having the resources of the likes of the Motorsport Ireland Rally Academy, they've been very good too. I've got a great benefit out of that in terms of my kind of psychological prep and nutrition and different bits. That, the small things like that really make the difference and can gain you that little extra bit of speed and just consistency. But there's things like that, and just an endless amount of people to thank that make it all happen. So just really grateful.
Yeah, and all this wouldn't be possible without your sponsors. You have a strong band of sponsors there behind you too, making it all happen as well.
Yeah, literally. Like, again, they've been, really, really supportive, and they're always, it's, they're behind you, and it's fantastic. It's an honor to keep the logos in the car and to catch up, and and do it for them as well, because they put a lot of faith in me. So it's important to try and reward them as best as possible. And I'm glad we've managed to do that this year, because some of them have been with us a couple of years now, more 3-4 years, and the results have obviously not always been like this. So it's cool to show them, finally, look, this is what our plan was over a few years. We're finally here, and it's a great feeling because they've been there the whole way. And we've obviously brought on new sponsors this year too, and it's great to show them what we can do from the get-go, and just really, really thankful for all of them. Like you say, it wouldn't be where you are without them.
For sure. And then mentioning Conor again, like with the the various permutations of the championship, he hasn't quite clinched the co-driver's title. Will you continue on with the championship now at this stage?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's a 50-50 effort, so he deserves it as much as I do, and it's no doubt. It's the way obviously it works with points. I think he virtually just needs to maybe finish the next round. I don't even think he needs too many points, but just to get it for him is equally as important, because he's been a vital part of the campaign, and now without a doubt. And to be honest, the plan was to always finish the championship. I really rated them 2 rounds last year, and really want to go back to them, because I still feel like on gravel I have a lot of speed to increase on. So yeah, it's 2 really good rallies to do that, and we have a lot to work on. So we're going to use them as opportunities to do that. And in the future, if we ever go back to the BRC in the top flight, we'll have it's extra experience, because typically the stages don't change too much. So everything's experience. It's an opportunity, and of course we need to get Conor his title. So that's the most important thing.
Perfect. Yeah, and then obviously the last 2 rounds. Any other thoughts? Any other events now before the end of the year, or will that kind of wrap you up then for the year?
Other than the 2 of them, obviously we've got the Donegal Harvest, which it's a big one for anyone from Donegal. It's a mini international, but we've an entry in the polo for that, so it's really exciting. Not as close to home for me this year, but still, it's Donegal. It's real big excitement around it. There'll be a great entry, no doubt. So to be going back in the R5 car is just it's class, and counting the days, and hopefully we can try and use the experience we gathered in Donegal, Limerick, Mayo to have a bit of a charge. It's always learning, but we are getting a wee bit quicker each time, so hopefully we can get a good result out of it. And then I repeated last year. Luckily, I'm going back to the Killarney Historics and the Black Beauty, which is very exciting. So a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere, but just I can't wait. It's like Christmas for me, because
that looked fantastic last year. The big slides, the crack. You just seemed to smile from one end of the day to the end, from start to finish.
Yeah, it was one of the best days crack I've ever had in my life. It was so much fun. Driving one of them cars is just I can't describe the feeling. It's pure driving, pure excitement, and obviously it's no big pressure. You just go and enjoy it. Just them stages, them cars, and the atmosphere, and even the crowds, and just the general buzz about the place it's really special. So that's out of all the events this year, it's one I'm really looking the most forward to.
That was a great catch up with Eamon, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how he handles and slides the escort around Killarney in the historic rally. And we mentioned friends of the show earlier. Another friend of the show, Marion Evans and Jonathan Jackson, unfortunately didn't get to the end of Rally Cardigan Bay. So what do you call it? Yeah, we were disappointed to see that they didn't get over the finish ramp. You also caught up with Academy class winner Kyle McBride, and not only did he win the class on the BRC, on the Cardigan Rally, he also picked up the BRC title as well for that. And it's an interesting chat with him. I think he opens up talking about how important his days in the Junior 1000 category were and how they've helped him so far.
Definitely. We started there in 2018. We did the dog leap rally tarmac in a wee Toyota Aygo. I think I was 15, at the time, 14 or 15, and then 2019 came in, and then we decided to do the forestry. So yeah, we converted the car to forestry spec, and we thought it was a great idea because we got to do the full mileage of all the rally, like, you know, and from such a young age, and a small car like that, like it was just mental, like, not to do it. So, and it was fairly reasonable price, like everything, the entry fees was half the price, and we still got to do the full event, you know. So now we're delighted. It was a great championship for us, and I was happy. I was very happy to be able to compete in it, you know, and it definitely learnt me a lot at a young age. Like, to be fair, it's I think it was the best move I ever did, you know. So now we're happy enough. We did the full year in 2019, and we managed to win the championship in 2019. So no, it worked out well, and I definitely learnt a lot driving the wee cars. You're there's not much power in them, so like, supposing you're only 15, 16, too, it's enough power for you, like. So no, hey, it was fairly good now. So it was.
And then, you know, we all know what happened then in 2020. Coronavirus landed, so there wasn't much rallying for like a year and a half almost. But then, by the time rallying come back, you were ready for the stages.
Yeah, so we got going in 2019. It was all good, and then COVID kicked in and kind of hampered us a bit, you know. But it was the same for everyone, you know. But we just kind of kept looking to see what we could do and what the options were, and no, it was a pity kind of came in there, like, you know. But no, we got going again then. Everybody got going again, so we're happy enough to get on the ball and we moved up then into the 1600, the wee Civic, so it was. So it was from the J1000s. It was a big step up for me, like, you know what I mean. And I was 18 at the time, and jumping from, I think it was 65 brake to 180 brake. It was mental, like, you know. But no, we moved up into the Civic, and it was fairly good, you know.
And then, you know, you only done 2 or 3 rallies in the Civic, and then you moved R2 Fiesta. Like, was it a conscious decision to stay front wheel drive? You know, we see so many young guys coming up now through, and they're mad to get into an Escort or something like that. And was this the idea of staying front wheel drive? Was this to progress to the BRC or?
Well, whenever we were in the Civic, we did 2 rallies. We did the Harvest, and it was the back end of the year in 2021. We did the Harvest, and then we did the Bandit Beach, and I just got my license at the time, and we're just mad to get going. Any rallies like that, the championships was all kind of read up, you know. But we're just mad to get going, and then we did the Harvest, and then we finished well, and then we did the Bandit Beach, and we won that in the juniors, you know. So now we're trying to look forward then, like what to do next year and what car to go on, you know. And we worked out our options and what would be the best option, you know, the best path to go. So no, I thought kind of front wheel drive, you know, would teach me a lot going forward. So now we went front wheel drive in the wee Fiesta R2T car. So now we're happy enough. It was a good move now.
Yeah, I like they're a great wee car, and you know, it's a good leveler. You know, you're going up and you're into that homologated class, and you know, you're in along with guys. That doesn't matter that, you know, the deep pockets don't really make a difference. It's everybody's car is the same spec.
Yeah, that's it. It's great to move into car like that, and especially against left-hand drive and sequential gearbox. That was all new to me, you know. I thought like adapting left-hand drive would be a bit difficult, but no, so it was 100%. Like, whenever you got onto it, I just kind of stayed tight to my Dutch, and you couldn't really go wrong then, you know. So now we moved into that the wee Fiesta R2T car now, and have to say they're a great wee car. They're a strong wee car. No, I like it, you know, but it took a lot of time to get onto it at the start, but now we're slowly getting it there, and we're still learning of the car, like, to learn now. So it's all learning to me, like, but it's the classes are very tight. Especially whenever the wee Rally 4 cars in it, they have a bit of a more power advantage than we do, you know. Kind of hampers us sometimes in the tire, but now we're happy to we keep trying, you know, and kind of really improving me as a driver, you know, with that kind of less power. But no, hey, we're happy, so we are.
Yeah, and like, you know, we mentioned there that you went over this year to do the BRC. Like, that was a massive step coming from, you know, the Junior 1000 doing the Irish Forestry to go over there. And you've mentioned there, like, you know, you're competing against the likes of Eamon Kelly, Kyle White, you know, Joe Kelly, these guys. And like, it has to be bringing you along.
Definitely, Kevin, definitely. We decided whenever we got the car, we didn't know what to do or where to go, but now we thought that was the best path. And we went for it. You know, it was definitely a big jump. You know, and now the pace over there is mental, Kevin. Hey, and
Mhm.
to be over there and competing and be alongside all those big guys, like, and trying your best every stage. You know, and it's definitely ringing me on a lot. So it's definitely a big step. You know, but now we're happy we took it, and it's all good so far.
Yeah, and like you, at the weekend there in the Ceredigion, you claimed the academy, you know, the JBRC academy. Like that's massive achievement in your first proper year.
Definitely, Kevin. No, it's been a good year so far, and we're happy to win that. You know, and they had a great prize for that. They did free entries for the following 2023 year. You know, for the
Hmm.
Junior BRC. So it's great. It's great. You know, intention for young drivers to do, like, and especially it'll help me a lot now going forward next year. You know, it's a great thing to have on the budget side of things. You know.
And like before we even start looking at next year, like I suppose like always been the thing with you, you know, follow you in social media, you know how much of a family run event or a team you are. You know, your dad tows your car to the events. You know, it's not a massive budget. You're all doing things, and it's everybody's pulling together.
Yeah, that's it. It's as we all know, it's a very expensive sport, and I'm I'm super delighted to be able to do a BRC at 19 years of age and an R2 car. Like, and a huge thanks must go to all my sponsors and the academy team. You know, who's been able to pull it all together and make it possible for me. You know,
Mhm.
and especially a big shout out to Dad. He tows the car about, so he's he's the main man too. He tows the car about, and he's on the spanners all the time. So a big shout out has to go to him, you know. And no, it's really good now.
And like another thing, like you know, you do rally on the weekends, but it's also your career as well. Yeah, you work to PCRS, Philip Case. Like so you know the importance of good preparation in the car as well.
Oh, that's it, definitely. I work with I work with Philippi, and we be away working on events, you know, and weight rallies, you know, and I'm doing the apprenticeship with him. So it's a huge charity has to go to him. He's a big person who's helped me get where I am today, you know, and definitely it's been class to work on all those big cars and be away at all the world rallies. Like, at 17 years of age, 16, 17 years of age, to be away working at world rally events. Like, it's mental, like, but no, I'm happy to be able to do it, and it's a class experience to see the work that the drivers put in at world level. You know, it kind of gives me an insight of the preparations they put in.
Mhm.
So it's definitely a big bonus, and especially working in my own car, like, whenever you're going to track your allies, and if you do make a mistake, your car does cut out, or if you do pull the wheel off it or something, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's great to have the knowledge and experience to be able to think like how to get it fixed and get going again, or see what the problem is, because I think it's experience that you just cannot get. You know, you can't learn it just in one day. Like, it's just,
No, and it allows
you
you to
know.
keep a cool head, as you say. You know, if the car is saying something mechanical, you can, you know, you're able to keep a cool head, saying, "Right, I know what this is. I don't need to panic." Or you know, you come to the end of the stage, you can get onto the guys and say, "We need this sorted," or whatever. You know, like from that, that's invaluable.
Oh, definitely, definitely, and even set up in cars, like, we do a lot of testing and stuff up in work, you know, and for me, even learning like what the lads are doing when other drivers are testing and what they're trying out, then whenever I have the rally suit on, then I know like what way to do work things, or maybe we'll go harder or softer, or lower the car for a stage, you know. It's definitely good to learn and good to know. Because it, like, there's a lot of components on the cars too, like, and it, like, it's so simple for a small thing to go wrong, like, and to be able to know how to try and fix it and stay going. Like, some of the rallies in the BRC is really tricky and really challenging. Like, it's some of them a finisher's rally more than being quick on every stage, you know.
Mhm.
And it's great knowledge to know, Kevin. So it is.
Yeah, because sometimes we look at the BRC and we think the events are quite short, but you know what they lack in maybe overall mileage, as you said earlier, the pace is so frantic, and you're on you know world class stages a lot of the time as well. You know, you think of Nicky Grist there, like you were doing stages there that used to be in you know the Rally GB.
That's it. Yeah, yeah, definitely. All the stages they have is next to none. It's mental. Like
Mhm.
it is crazy, and to drive on them, it's even crazier at 19 years of age. So it is.
So you've the academy wrapped up now. So like, is that job done for this year, or will you try and see out the championship, or where's your thoughts now for the rest of the year?
We'll see now. We've the harvest coming up now, and maybe we might do another round or two of the BRC towards the back end of the year. You know, we're kind of our main priority is the harvest now because that's we're doing that Motorsport Ireland Dual Rally Surface Championship. You know, so we'll go to the harvest now, and we're in good shape now after last weekend, and we're happy with our improvements. You know, and we'll hopefully maybe get back over to do a gravel round. You know, I really enjoyed the gravel, so I'd be more comfortable in the gravel because I've done more in the gravel. You know, Kevin.
Yes.
Because back in the J1000s, I've learnt a lot. You know, it's all gravel we did back then. So I'd be really happy to get back over to do a gravel event. But no, we'll see. We'll get the harvest done and we'll see what the options are.
Yeah, and then we can't go on now without mentioning motorsport. The Motorsport Ireland, the academy. Like we've seen what it has done for the likes of Callum and Josh and Will Crichton and all. Like it's a fantastic opportunity for a young guy at your age to be involved in that as well.
Oh, definitely. It's crazy to be in and to be a part of, and especially all the drivers that you're in with are like they have proper good talent, and like you have to hats off to the academy for doing what they're doing. They put a lot of work in and what at the minute, and we're always trying to see the improvements and what we can improve and where you can get that extra second kilometer. Like if you can find a second kilometer and it's a 20 kilometer stage, like that's 20 seconds you can find. So that's good to be looking at the bigger picture, and seeing where you can find the time, and not only that, like the preparation, the fitness, the diet plans, going into events, and it's definitely a big help, especially at the BRC events. Like sometimes there could be like a long day wrecking, and then you're straight on to the rally the following day, and there's a 2-day rally, and you're rallying that night, and it's very long. Like, and I wouldn't be used to it, but it's good to be a part of the team and to see in progress.
Yeah, and again, we always say like this is the experience that you couldn't go out and buy this experience, and you're being provided this. You know the right things to eat. You know the right thing. Where to target your fitness. Them things is brilliant for somebody at your age to be experience all that. That's invaluable.
Definitely, definitely. Like you never know, like some of the stuff what we be doing and covering, like you never think of, Kevin. You'd never think of doing anything like it or thinking like Jesus, that makes a difference. Or it's all small things, add up, and if 10 small things add up to a big thing, like that is a big thing. So no, it's great to be a part of, and who shout out goes to them. Like they've really pushed me on, throughout the year, and it's been great.
And like you mentioned earlier then about with the Academy one now that allows you free entries to the BRC next year. Would that be sort of where your thoughts lie to for next year at this stage?
Yeah, it's a bit early to think about that, but no, definitely it's good to be thinking ahead and seeing what the plans is now. It's a great thing to have something there ready to go. It's a great thing on the funding side of things, like because it's our sport isn't cheap and we all know that. So hopefully, you never know. Hopefully that would be the plan, like to keep going now, and hopefully we'll be able to move up now into a Rally 4 car and contest into the Junior BRC, because my car is not eligible for that,
Okay.
Because that's the older spec car.
Right. Yes.
So we'd have to move up into Rally 4 car for it to go into the Junior BRC. So that's my plans, and hopefully we'll be able to come up with budget that we can be able to move forward and go ahead with that.
Hopefully Kyle pulls it together there next year with the Rally 4 car for, he has a wee diamond coming up through there as well. The guy's a big future ahead of him. Also last weekend they had the Lakeland Stages up in Enniskillen. 6 stages, 3 stages done twice. Tough day, a lot of retirements, but the pace at the front was hectic, Desi Henry, another one for him. Cathan McCourt back in the Fiesta. Conor McCourt getting the podium then in the Skoda. A great rally, Conor.
Yeah, horrendous weather conditions, absolutely atrocious at times during the day. Great to see Desi back up on the horse again after his recent retirement on the Ulster Rally.
Yeah, they got 2 wins now in 2 weekends, Talking to him after the event, he's confident now that the car seems to be well sorted. He's happier, he's in a happy place now, and I think that's reflected in his driving.
Absolutely, and look, another couple of rallies under his belt, and fingers crossed that's the car is sorted. And looking forward to next year actually, and where he goes, what championships he undertakes. It'll be nice to see him out again, with no issues and no hassles, and just being able to focus on his driving.
Sure, for sure. And Cathan McCourt back in the focus. Cathan started off the year in the Fiesta, and then there's been a few changes of car over the period of the year. But again, speaking to him, he seemed very happy with the Fiesta on gravel. Hard to argue with it at the moment because Desi has put in some strong performances. Conor or Cathan there settled straight back into the car again, and wasn't a million miles away from Desi. It's going to be very interesting next weekend then for the Bushwhacker.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, I presume he's sticking with the Fiesta, so it'll be interesting to see how the two fight it out, in very similar cars.
Yeah.
And then, as you say, Conor not that far behind either.
No, for sure. And then, we'll talk more about the Bushwhacker obviously next week, but there's going to be, a few more names through in there as well too. So that's going to be a fascinating battle. And then in the two-wheel drive, Alan Smyth come out victorious in the two-wheel drive, just I think only a couple of seconds ahead of David Condell. Unfortunately, Shane McGurr's continuous bad luck in his home stages. He retired very early in the event, but Alan and David had a great battle there.
They did. It was fairly close now, and nip and tuck at times through that. And again, rear-wheel drive in horrendous weather conditions, as we mentioned, between the puddles and stand water in places, fairly tough going for them as well.
That's for sure. So I think without further ado, we'll catch up with Desi, Cathan and Conor, and then the two-wheel drive winner, Alan Smyth. Desi Henry, winner of the 2022 Lakeland Stages. Good day in the car today.
Yeah, delighted. It was a great rally. Weather made it very, very tricky there, especially in the last loop. It was definitely far from simple, but a good battle with Cathan there all day. But first loop, obviously, we're sweeping the road. And then the second loop, the rain came on heavy, and the rain was full in the ruts. So we were nearly having to drive outside of the ruts again to stay on a clean line. So it was a tricky day, but really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and good competition, as you say, there from Cathan and Conor and all too. So
yeah, it was a strong line up there, and it's great to get back in the forestry again. I really do enjoy the forestry, and it's great lads there and great sporting, and it's great to get back to the finish, obviously, with a win.
Yeah, and that's 2 wins and 2 rounds now, so you'll continue on with the championship now, will you?
Yeah, well, we'll do the Bushwhacker now in a few weeks' time, and hopefully get around that again. But as we all know, the Bushwhacker's the holy grail of gravel, so there'll be a lot of competition there again. So looking forward to it. We're happy with the car and happy with everything there now, and any issues we had earlier on the year seems to be resolved. So looking forward to going home in a few weeks' time.
Excellent, good man, thank you. Cathan McCourt, second overall in the Lakeland Stages. Good day's rallying?
I definitely enjoyed it. It was a good day's rallying. The car went flawlessly all day. Good old race with Desi there to finish up. And look, it took us a wee while just to get back into having drove the Fiesta and the gravel probably in a year now. So it was all was good. And look, the stages were tricky. The last loop there, it rained and it was very, very slippy. But here enjoyed the day, and the car's home in one piece now for the Bushwhacker. So it's the big one to go for now. So it was good.
Yeah, and you were saying like the Bushwhacker's next up, so we'll be back in the Fiesta again for the
Bushwhacker? Definitely. We'll go in the Fiesta now to the Bushwhacker. Done the Bushwhacker last year in the Fiesta, and we weren't that far away. So it'll be tough competition this year. You've O'Brien will go hard. And
Conor McCourt, third overall now in the Lakeland Stages today. Good day's rallying for you.
Aye, nice steady day out. Wet and slippy, but we got to the end, so more than happy.
And tough competition out there today. You're mixing times there with Desi and your brother and all. So you have to be happy with that.
Oh, aye, we're getting the hang of the Skoda now, so Kieran done a good job on the notes. We've done a wee bit more prep on the notes this time, so it seemed to pay off. Before we were just kind of landing and driving, but maybe we'll have to do a bit more for the Bushwhacker now.
So obviously then the Bushwhacker's next in the agenda?
Yeah, I think it's just 2 weeks. So get the car prep now and get ready to go now for the Bushwhacker.
And you prefer the forestry? Like it seems to be your happiest.
I never done tarmac. I don't gel with it, don't like it. Not that I don't like it, didn't do enough of it, but like the forestry, it's easy going, 1 day event, come and go, and young family at home, so with work and everything, it makes sense for me.
Absolutely.
And like the Skoda, there wasn't an issue today at all.
No, Skoda was great. Maybe lacking a wee bit of power compared to the Festas, but no handling, tyres, everything was great. So I have to thank Ryan for that too.
Alan Smyth, top two-wheel drive in the Lakeland Stages 2022. You have to be happy with that.
Oh, I definitely. It sounds good. That there's a good ring to it. Good someday.
And tough competition out there today. You had David Cadell, Shane didn't, maybe didn't last too long, but to come home with the fastest two-wheel drive, great result from you're not long in the Mark II really.
No, this is my first year in the Mark II. Like I had front-wheel drives and the Evo and stuff, but this is the first year in the Mark II. I never intended to come to gravel. It was tarmac car. We just bolted spring centre and different wheels, and away we went today for a spin for the crack, but that was good. Like there's a lot left in the car, just the driver needs to get it all out of it, good day.
And your home rally, the Bushwhacker, would you be tempted to keep the springs and the...
Oh, for sure, that's the plan anyway, the Grand Prix, the Oma Grand Prix, so we're definitely going for it now, and hopefully we make it, so.
And what are you making of the Mark II? Are you loving the challenge it's providing?
I like it, it's different than any of my drive, I was in front wheel drive for years, and only done a couple of years in Evo, and I obviously said that I wanted a Mark II, and I've got it now, and it's class, the speed, and it's just mental the whole time.
Kevin, that was great to catch up with the guys, especially at the ramp as well. It's nice to hear from them, get that bit of passion and enthusiasm, at the very end of the rally. And again, all referencing the Bushwhacker. So I think it's going to be some battle and a bit of a gravel Grand Prix. Should be very interesting.
For sure. I think as I say, we'll talk more about that next weekend. And then, this weekend coming, we have Wexford, and it's going to be maybe not the strongest four-wheel drive, but the two-wheel drive. It's it's the who's who of two-wheel drive there. And that's not taking away anything from the four-wheel drive guys there. You have Daniel Cronin, you have Andrew Purcell, guys who are well capable of winning the rally. There's no doubt about it. But you have James Stafford, Declan Gallagher, Kevin Eves, Gary Kiernan. But I think the really interesting one from us spectator point of view, Miko Herviden.
Absolutely, yeah. A bit of a bolt out of the blue, when we heard Miko's name being bandied about a couple of months ago for Wexford, and great to see. He always threatened he was going to come back and rally in Ireland again in the Mark II. So delighted that it's finally coming to pass.
That's for sure. And he's back in the same car, I think, as what he done West Cork and a couple of years ago as well. So, familiar with the car. Well, it probably will not do any harm anyway. And he showed great pace down there. But for the local guys, to be racing him, it must be a dream come true for them.
Look, it's a chance to benchmark yourself against, an ex-WRC guy and works driver. Absolutely. Who wouldn't want the challenge of that and, claim some bragging rights, if you can pip him on a stage or whatever.
That's for sure. And, kudos to Wexford Motor Club. They've put together what looks to be a fantastic event. 9 stages over the 2 days, 18 stages in total. It's I think 230 stage kilometers. That's going to be a mega rally.
It is actually, it is a good event. Always has been done, a good solid event, and it works very well with the 2-day format. And as you say, there's some decent stage mileage there when it's all added up. So a bit of bang for buck for the competitors.
That's for sure. That is for sure. And they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, so we wish them all the best. And another great initiative then for this week is a national hunt jockey taking part. And what a lovely young lad he is. I caught up with him is Danny Mullins. To hear him speak about rallying, you start to understand why, we know how important how much our love of this sport is. To see it in somebody else who has never competed in a rally, it's just a joy to listen to. So without further ado, let's hear from Danny.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting week for me, and yeah, I'm delighted to be taking part.
Yeah, and Danny, a hunt jockey, a national hunt jockey, winning races across Ireland, the UK, and Europe. What promoted the move from that to rallying for the weekend?
Yeah, I love speed and adrenaline, and Andy Hayes asked me would I like to come down one day to test a few cars. Himself and Josh Moffat were testing, and I sat in with Josh, and he absolutely frightened the daylights out of me. And once I'd gone a couple of times with Josh, I thought, this is unbelievable. I'd love to give it a go. Little did I think I'd be driving in a rally so soon. But last year, I was off injured, and I had a little bit of time before I got back racing horses, and I went and I got my license to drive a rally car. And then, as it transpired, the Wexford Rally was on the 10th and the 11th of September this year, which happens to be a weekend with no jump racing. So I'm off, and yeah, delighted to sign up for it.
Yeah, and like probably one of the very few weekends that you have free, because I'm looking at your calendar there, it's jam packed.
Yeah, it seems to be, we've the month of June off, and apart from that, it seems to be all go. The racing is so busy, especially the summer months. While there's not as much race or as much high profile racing, there's still a huge number of meetings. So to find the weekend that suited for the rally, it was just a stroke of luck.
Yeah. And then, like, how have you found the transition so far? Like, have you tested the car? How have you done the recce or anything like that yet?
Yeah, so I tested the car last week. The first day was not great. I went about 2 kilometers up the road, and a bit of driver issue, and I'd done the drive shaft in the car. So that was the first eye opener, and I was thinking to myself on that day, I'm going to make an absolute fool of myself. But lucky enough, Tom Gahan, who's looking after the car for me, I'm hiring the car off him for the weekend. He told me not to panic. He'll put it back. He'll have me in shape to go testing the following day. And in fairness to him and the team, they got me out on the road. I'd done a little bit of coaching with Andy. He gave me a few pointers, and we seem to be doing a little bit better now. Although when you think of what you want to achieve in these things, then versus the reality of what's possible to achieve once you sit in and do it, they're two different things. I've huge respect for the likes of Josh, who can really push the limit in a rally car. If I can keep between the ditches and not make a fool of myself, I'll be happy.
But like it's all so new to you. Like if you put Josh, say, on a horse, he's not going to do what you can do. So like it's baby steps, it's learning, and like you have Tom, no better man for prepping the car. You have the likes of Andy, giving you advice. People at the top of their game. Like that's the kind of they're going to bring something to you that you couldn't go out and buy.
Yeah, definitely. And Michal Maher is sitting in with me navigating. And I think we played a blinder with Michal. We had him signed up to drive, because originally Patrick Bride was supposed to navigate, but with work commitments, he wasn't able to be free for the weekend. And we signed up Michal before he realised I'd never driven a rally car. So once the first evening he came down to sit in with me, I told him his name is on the side of the car and there's no backing out now. I think he was having a few second thoughts.
Excellent, excellent. And what car are you driving at the weekend?
I'm driving a Rally 1 Fiesta, which to me is a very powerful car. I know it's one of the smallest rally cars there is, but there's a lot of power in there for a novice like myself going into this discipline. So hopefully, I can guide it around and do myself some justice.
Excellent, excellent. And like you're as well as taking part and helping the Wexford Motor Club celebrate 50 years. It's also like this is a chance for you to raise some money as well.
Yeah, I'm going to link up with Tomorrow for Thomas. He's a bright young fella from Galway, and unfortunately, he has paraplegic cerebral palsy. So he's wheelchair bound. But from the first day I met Thomas, he was a big inspiration for a guy whose life has dealt him, a raw deal. He's very positive, loves his GAA. He's been lucky enough to be in the same locality as the owners of Floor and Porter, a horse that I've struck up a good association with. and through that, yeah, I got to meet him, and to see a guy that life has dealt such a raw deal to be so positive. It's a fantastic inspiration to me and anybody else, to not dwell on the small things and keep going and enjoy the life we're given.
That sounds like a really brilliant and worthwhile charity. How can people go about donating to that?
Yes, so on my social media channels, Twitter and Instagram, my Twitter is Dan2231 and my Instagram is Danny Mullins1. I've posted the link tree on my bio, and if anybody would be kind enough to donate, it'd be great to raise some funds for Thomas, being wheelchair bound, and that, as he's growing up, he's getting bigger, and he needs just to try and update the home. His parents, Shane and Anne Marie, do a fantastic job looking after him. But anything, that can be done to make his day-to-day life a bit better would be fantastic.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that definitely has to be something that has to be looked at. And then, you're bringing, you're coming to this rally. You're going to bring a new audience. Like I seen you on there with Darren Garrity from 2FM, a few weeks ago at the Galway races. Like it's always great to bring new eyes to the sport.
Yeah, definitely. It was fantastic that we were able to do the bit with Darren, and through HRI, they've been supportive of the rally. And I think while the likes of that exposure with Darren Garrity has brought new eyes to rallying, I think with the crossover with a high adrenaline sport of horse racing as well, some new eyes might be able to come back to horse racing. So for two very similar sports, I think maybe in the future they might be able to work together again. It seems definitely a worthwhile venture for me so far.
Excellent, excellent. And what is your hopes ahead of the weekend?
Yeah, so myself and Andy had been chatting, and originally I was joking with him that we'll try for a podium. Once I started driving the rally car, I soon realised that keep it between the ditches and try get round as the first aim, and we'll see how the first couple of stages go. It's something I'm definitely going to enjoy, but I don't want to get ahead of myself just yet.
No. And what a tremendous event! Like you have 2 days, 9 stages on the Saturday, and then 6 more on the Sunday. You couldn't have a better event for your debut.
Yeah, definitely. The fact that there's 2 days, it's allows you to maybe warm up on the first day, get into it, find the rhythm with the car, and I suppose in some respects, when you're, for me, riding race horses, you have to try become one with the horse and get inside their mind. And I have to just find my rhythm with the car the first day as well. And while it's a machine, I just have to adjust and see how I can control it well, and give it a shot to try get a bit of speed up as I go.
Excellent, excellent. And I know you're a very busy calendar now, but could you see yourself maybe in the future looking at doing more rallies?
It's definitely something that I'd like to do, and yeah, if I get a chance again, I'd definitely jump at it. Fortunately and unfortunately, I'm lucky enough that I'm very busy racing, and I'm getting a lot of good rides on good horses, at the moment. So if time allows, I'd definitely like to give the rallying a go again in the future. So we'll just see. We'll get through this one first, and it's to drive in a rally. It's a real bucket list thing to do. So I'll thoroughly enjoy this one. If I do get an opportunity again, I'll jump at it.
That was great. Now you caught up with Danny. It was good to hear from the horse's mouth.
Okay. All right. Go on.
Pardon the fun. Pardon the fun. And then another very important event coming up this weekend is WRC Greece.
Yeah, it is going to be Acropolis was always one of those standout events. That was one of the majors almost of rallying. It's going to be interesting to see how these cars stick the pace out there.
Absolutely, like Acropolis was a car breaker after Kenya. If it's 2 events in the WRC calendar that would test the cars, it was Acropolis and Kenya and the Safari Rally. For many reasons, this is an important event. It's a very important one for M Sport. It's important for Craig. Be interesting to see how Loeb gets on. And very important, closer to home, it's the final round of the Junior WRC Championship.
Yeah, like we have to wish the very best to John and Brian. You know, it's winner takes all at the weekend. We know he is the pace. There's no doubt about that there. Just needs the wee rub of the green, and fingers crossed it all comes together for himself and Brian out at the weekend.
Absolutely. It on one hand, the championship has been neutralized in a sense. Greece is new for all of the drivers. None of them are familiar with it. And then with that, there's all the extra points on hand for stage wins and everything as well. So everything counts here, and it's going to be who keeps the head on the shoulders and drives, with maturity and thinking the whole time and preserving the car.
Yeah, and one of the benefits, of all those people who donated, bought tickets, whatever, there a few weeks ago for his fundraiser. John got a couple of brief tests there over the weekend, and that's the first time he's got a chance to do that this year. So that's going to be vital going into this weekend. And then also Walt Crichton and Liam, we're wishing them all the best. Aaron, Craig and Paul as well. As you said, Craig and Paul, the keyboard warriors were out in force after the last round. They got some serious flack, which was totally undeserved. Again, they just need to hit the reset button, and we know they're capable of strong results, and hopefully that everyone starts clicking back into place for them again this weekend.
Absolutely. There's been undue pressure there, and not all of their making either. It's how the team is set up and the budgetary issues the team has too. So there's extra pressures there that normally wouldn't be in the mix. So fingers crossed it is a reset for them. They do well with Loeb there, maybe it'll take some of the spotlight off them and give them a chance just to go and do what they want to do, which is drive.
For sure, and we know Craig is very capable. He's one of the best in the world when it comes to driving. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Also this week starts out is going to be the National Marshal Seminars that's going to visit different, locations all around the country. Kieran Ambrose is one of the driving forces behind that. So I caught up with Kieran just to get the, a general gist of what was going to be happening. And he forgot to mention from a recording, but he wanted me to, make it aware. Like, this is the Volunteers and Officials Commission. This is not affiliated to any motor club or anything like that. It's a fascinating chat. I think, whether you've ever marshalled before, whether you've been marshalling for the last 20 years, it's something that you thought, I'd love to give it a go. You need to listen to this. This is a game changer. I think this is vital that everybody listens to this and attend one of these events if you can.
Well, Kevin, the first seminar is rolling out this Thursday night in Cork, and we travel from Cork to Portlaoise. Then we're on to Limerick. Then we have Swinford in Mayo. We have Letterkenny up to the Mount Errigal, the home of the Donegal International. Then we're on to Waterford, and we're back up the country again to Cavan, which gives us a good geographical spread throughout the country. And hopefully by the time we have that much of the country covered, we'll have a lot of people brought into the room. That's the plan at the moment. It's not the one night, it varies. The first night is the 8th of September, the 12th of September, the 21st, the 28th, the 4th of October, the 12th of October, the 17th of October. But I'll get that information is out there, and I'll get it on to yourself, Kevin, as well.
And we can share it onto the page and all that.
Through the MI website. It's through the MI website and the social media platforms. To be fair, I've been in touch with a lot of the regional championships and the national championships and clubs around the country. They've all publicised it out there, so it is out there on a lot of platforms. I suppose through yourself, it's to try get to the greater fan base of motorsport people and the people that are maybe not involved in clubs, because this is what we're trying to reach out to. We'd love to see more people join our sport, get involved in the volunteering side of our sport, and see that when we bring them into the room, we'll show them a bit of the safety aspects of the marshalling side of things, and they'll get a better picture of motorsport and the safety aspects of our sport and become a part of the motorsport community.
Yeah, and that kind of leads on to my next question then. It's not just people that's already currently involved or somebody that's a member of Donegal Motor Club. Anybody can come to this. It's open for all.
Well, that's exactly it, Kevin. We're trying to reach out to compete, I suppose, as one would say, against we've youngsters, like we call them youngsters, I suppose they're heading back into college season and back to school now, and the rugbies and the soccers and everything are starting back. So we're reaching out, and hopefully the next generation is what we're trying to encourage. We're trying to bring people that follow our sport but are not involved through clubs. But likewise, the people that are involved in our sport, we'll welcome them, because on the night there'll be a forum where we'll have. The idea is this is a Marshal seminar. This isn't the typical training, one-way system. We're trying to be as interactive as we can here. So we'd love to meet the long-term campaigners of motorsport throughout there, bring them to the room, get their experience, get their voice of experience and their knowledge from being out on the road and helping, as mentioned, on events. And likewise, we have plenty MI licensed officials. Well, yes, they are welcome to the room as well, and they would be greatly welcomed, because these people carry licenses from different aspects of the sport and at different senior levels. So their knowledge would be greatly welcomed on the night as well. So as you say, it's open to one and all, whether they're already involved in our sport or whether they're first timers. We'd welcome them all at this stage, so we will know.
Yeah, and even just a casual spectator that maybe only goes to 1-2 events a year, they're every bit as welcome.
And that's 100%. That's 100%. We're from as I say, whether it's the person that makes their annual trip to the hills in Donegal as their summer holidays, or whether they're a follower on the podcast or they're follower on Facebook or whatever. If they're in the vicinity on any of the nights in question, call in, as mentioned, you'll be more than welcome. We'll give you the registration forms and we'll get you signed up. And we have on offer on the night, we have a few bits and pieces on offer. You'll become a licensed Marshal. You'll get a Marshal staff dust pack. There's a draw for those that attend, as the man says. So yeah, there's a couple of things to draw people in, but it's also to be able to give back something to the sport, because these are volunteers. We have to remember they're giving up with their time, free will. There isn't too many people out there that will give you their time for nothing. So it's a small gesture from us where we can to give back to the sport.
Absolutely. And we know how vital the Marshals are, and I see myself attending events. It's the same crop of people that attend all the events. It'd be nice to be able to broaden that base, and it's fair on everybody that way.
110%, Kevin. It's that you hit the nail on the head there. I suppose a lot of people probably recognise me travelling around the country, and I try my best to help out clubs where I can, but you can't be every place. You cannot be every place, and that's the same with the core team of Marshals that are out there. They can't do every event. We got a little break due to what happened in the last couple of years, and some people came back to the sport, and we've lost a few people. Not literally lost them, but people have found other interests, and people a realization that there's different things in family life, and that's okay too. But I suppose that's where we're reaching out to see, can we get new people into our sport? Can we build on the database that we have within our sport to get new faces and new people out there? Because it's like everything. You can't keep going back to the same people over and over again. We need new faces in there. We need new faces, and we'd welcome them now at this stage.
Absolutely, for sure. And then, how do you go about, do you just turn up on the night, or do you need to apply to attend on the night?
Well, I'll tell you, we'd like people to drop a little email just to the safety@motorsportireland.com. And it's the idea, pick a venue, let us know what venue you're intention to go on to, and it's to give us an idea of numbers. As you can appreciate, we've venues booked around the country, and I suppose some venues they're a fine size, as the man says, but some venues aren't very, very big, and we just want to make sure that we're able to accommodate everybody. And the last thing we want to be doing is that we're bulging at the seams with numbers, but do we have a room that everybody is comfortable inside and plenty of space? And that's mainly the idea, is just to give us an idea of numbers that attending each. And as I say, we intend on the night to give out a Marshal staff dust pack. And if we have an idea of numbers, well, then we can bring enough Marshals packs to make sure everybody goes out of the room with their pack on the night,
Excellent. And then, we know there's been Marshals doing this for years. They're going to gain something from the night as well. It's not just aimed at the beginners, it's aimed right across the board.
100%. There's a few small subtle changes coming within junction layouts and things like that. And I suppose this is trying to just encompass that. and get them subtle little changes out there to people, so that it's not just the stage commander on the Sunday morning or the Saturday morning, wherever they might be, that's given the brief. That this is just a kind of another platform where we see that we just want to get out the rules to these people, even all day being subtle rule changes, but there is small rule changes. And the thing about it is, as I said earlier, Kevin, the people that are out there on the ground, these are the key people on the night, that if we have new members in the room, some people might say, sure, there's no point having the older people there. They'll sure, what are they going to learn? It's their tales and their experience from actually being on the coalface, out there on the ground, the day they met the awkward resident, or the day they met the awkward spectator. It's their hands-on approach and their way of how they dealt it. That is better than any education that we'll try to explain on the night. These are the people that have the stories that were out on the ground, and these are the people that are part of our sport, and they are vital to what we have, you know.
That's, that was, again, you're going on nearly on taking the next question there. Like, we know that these people are the lifeblood of our sport, how important they are, and will they get an opportunity to have their voice heard on the night as well?
Yeah, well, that's again a part of it. Like, there's obviously the questions and answers part, albeit towards the end of it. But our plan is that we want to try and make it as interactive as we can for people. That, people to ask questions, people to give their opinions. There's also going to be, the idea is that we're going to have, if people, and I appreciate it, and maybe some people say, sure, Phil Ambrose, he never shuts up, but my idea is that if there's people in the room that don't feel comfortable talking within the room, there'll be an opportunity there where we'll have like a thoughts box or whatever, ideas box, that if people have an idea, they can write it down in a note, and whether they want to sign their name to it or they don't want to sign their name, but we'll have a little box down at the back of the room. They'll be able to pop it in discreetly and out of the way, and we'll review them after. And albeit it'd be ideal if their name was on it, because then we'd make communication back and say, well, this is how we're going to, we saw what you said, we take it on board, and we'll see, can we get learnings from it and improve it for them. But likewise, they don't have to put their name on it. That's 100%. But it's to give everybody. There'll be a forum, hopefully, for everybody. There'll be the person on the floor will be able to talk. We'll have the private, discreet box, and also there's a launch on the night of a new Sportity app for the Marshals, the Motorsport Ireland Greater Community of Marshals. And it's true that there'll actually be an email address on that. So they'll be able to email directly to the Marshal subcommission, right into the commission. And there's a group of people on the commission who will be introduced as we go around the country. They all won't be at every venue, but there'll be a few at each venue where they can attend. As mentioned, we all have to appreciate where we all have our jobs and our lives and families so anyone that can make these events or these venues from the Marshal subcommission will be there, and they'll be introduced on the night and may even take part in some of the training. And they'll be the people that if somebody has an issue out there, an event, these are the people that will be the voice for their cause, as I mentioned, when they're able to discuss it at the subcommission.
Yeah, and it sounds a fabulous night. And then, as well as that, you're going to get training, you're going to get information. There's also an opportunity on the night of winning prizes, and that's a great encouragement for people to attend as well.
There is, and it's like I said a while ago about the gesture with the Marshal Starter Pack and things like that. And I don't mean to use the word Starter Pack to say that it's a person that's starting off for the first time. But what I mean by a Starter Pack is, the idea is we're hoping to build on this pack. This is just a baseline from us, because we haven't given out stuff in a long time. So these are a few small tokens, and hopefully we'll be able to build on them and go along. And as I say, this, when I mean starter, I'm not talking about the man or woman that's starting from the beginning. I'm talking about these are people that are there on the campaign trail for a long time. But yeah, there is prizes, to your point. There is good prizes. There's a lot of work being done there. There'll be draws taking place at each venue. It's not one lot of prizes for the overall 7 locations. It's actually there's prizes for each venue throughout the country. So that will be done based on those that attend in the night and return their license application form.
Excellent, Kieran. Well, I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I wish you all the best with it. As I say, as I said before, the Marshals are the lifeblood. We need them out there on the ditches, at road ends and service areas. like without them, rallying would be in a very difficult place.
Oh, well, that's it. Kevin, I think this year, unfortunately, I was above working with the lads in Donegal when the hard decision had to be made about Fanad, because that stage was shortened this year. And I was thinking after, and I spoke with lads in Donegal, and says whether it was Donegal or anywhere else in the country, it's a good number of years since we had to shorten or do anything with a stage, or we lost the stage due to the lack of marshals. But it told its own story on the single biggest rally probably we know on the sporting calendar throughout Ireland, and a statement like that to happen, I think it tells its own story, as you say. Rallies don't happen without them. Any rally, whether it's rallying, whether it's a mud plug event, an auto test, an auto solo, it's everything. Like there was a hill climb the weekend just gone in Donegal, the weekend coming, there's 2 days in Wexford, there's track days in Mondello, there's everything. We have marshals to go, and we need marshals everywhere, from the carts from the kart racing to, as you said, up to multi-stage rallying. Marshals are required everywhere within our sport, and it doesn't run without them.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Kieran, I think that's as nice a place to wrap that up as any. So thank you very much for taking the time.
Kevin, thank you very much, and I hope to look forward to seeing everybody at the venues throughout Ireland. As the man says, I'll try my best to get to most of them, and as I say, let this be the start of a journey for our new generation of motorsport enthusiasts and marshals to come. Thanks.
So, like as I say, if you can attend, please do, because like that is, we know marshals are the lifeblood of the sport. Without them, there'll be no rally.
There is no sport.
No, yeah, for sure. Just before we finish up, too, like to mention Michael McDade, Dick and Casey, who got another strong haul of points, won the class there in the Woodpecker rally at the weekend. Gary McElhinney, co-driving for Steb Perez, claimed a fantastic 8th overall, first time back in a Mark II in months now as well, too. So good to see them back as well. A lot of strong performances there. So that, always good to celebrate those things. Forgot to mention at the start of the show, please like, share, subscribe, keep saying these things. But, every week we see the difference in the figures it's making. So really, really appreciate it. So until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.